Hello, we are presenting our role play on working with an elder in a tribal community through the perspective of a community health representative. Our group consists of myself, Sarah Chavez, Lorenzo Yazzie, and Sarita McCohen.
This scenario focuses on an elder experiencing chronic health issues, social isolation, and challenges with accessing care, along with family member who is experiencing caregiver stress. We will demonstrate the generalist social work process, including engagement, assessment, goal settings, and intervention, while incorporating culturally responsive practices. We also draw from research on Indigenous health disparities, community health representatives, and culturally responsive care.
Okay, myself, Lorenzo, is playing the role of community health representative. Sarah will be playing the role of elder, and Sarita will be playing the role of the family member of the elder. Okay, all right. Um, all right. So, thank you for having me. My name is Lorenzo. I am the community health representative with the Navajo tribe. I'm here to support you in whatever way feels right for you. Can you tell me the things you've been going through lately?
Yeah, I've just been tired and I don't really go out much anymore.
Oh, okay. I see. So what has your kind of your daily routine been like?
Mostly just staying home, watching TV, and resting throughout the day.
Okay.
They used to be really active. Now they don't want to go anywhere. I'm concerned and feel like if the elder becomes isolated, this could lead to more health and mental issues such as depression.
Oh, that must be difficult for both of you. Have your appointments been going? How have your appointments been going? Are you taking your medications regularly? Do you feel you're supported to your day-to-day life?
So I've missed a few appointments lately, but I've been taking my medication most days. I do feel some support from my family, and I really appreciate everything that they do for me, but sometimes I do still feel a little lonely.
Okay, I hear you. I hear a few important concerns. Keeping up with your appointments. You're feeling you're more connected. You're not connected socially. Let's talk with each of these and see how we can help. What makes it hard to go to your appointments?
Sometimes I just don't feel like going, and other times I forget.
That makes sense. So you're kind of like overwhelmed. How? Okay, so family member. How has caregiving been for you?
At times it's stressful and overwhelming at times. I feel like I'm doing everything alone. I would like to get help from family members. Is there anything that you can provide for both of us? Oh wait. Oh, I messed up.
Oh wow, that's a lot to carry. You shouldn't have to do it alone. From what I'm hearing, it seems that there are a few key needs with healthcare opportunities or more social connection and resources to help you as a caregiver. Let's create a plan together. What would make things better for you?
I'd really like to get out more and, see the other elders in the community and, just getting out and being with family and friends since I don't really go out much anymore.
No, that's a good goal to be around family. Those are the main goals we want to focus on together. Make sure that you can attend all your appointments regularly, participate in community activities, and stay connected. Get support for caregiving. Let's talk about how we can make each of these happen. Here's what we can do. Let's schedule and remind you about your appointments. We can connect you with a tribal senior center. I can help you find caregiver resources, and we can create a simple daily routine. I want to make sure we include what's important to you culturally. Are there traditions or gatherings you like to reconnect with?
Yes, now that you bring it up, I do miss going to community events and traditional events like sunrise dances. I haven't been to one in a while.
Well, let's include that with a part with your care plan. Here's our plan together. You will attend appointments, take your medications regularly, participate at least in one community event each week. I will check in with you weekly to see how things are going. Does this plan work both for you?
Yes,
Yes.
it does. Okay, and that concludes our role play. The role play shows that Indigenous elders face higher rates of chronic illness and barriers to care.
Research also highlights the important role of community health representatives in bridging cultural and healthcare gaps.
Culturally responsive practices include respecting traditions, involving family, and using strength-based approaches.
I learned how important trust and respect are in working with elders.
I learned how caregiving impacts families emotionally and physically.
I learned the importance of culturally grounded care in social work practice.
This experience helped us better understand generalist social work practices and the importance of culturally responsive care in supporting Indigenous elders and their families. Playing the role of the elder helped me understand how important it is to feel heard and be respected. I realized how challenging it can be to ask for help and how much family and community support matter for well-being. I also saw how honoring cultural traditions and routines and affects engagement. Additionally, I also learned how social workers and CHRs use clear, caring communication to involve elders in planning their care. Individually, I gained insight into what it feels like to be an elder who may feel isolated but still wants to stay independent. I also recognized the importance of active listening and clear communication in social work. As a group, we learned that working together allows us to notice different perspectives and strengths in both clients and families. Overall, this assignment helped us understand generalist social work practice, plan care with clients and families, and reflect on our own skills and growth as future social workers.
Okay, so my takeaways, um, while I was reading different articles and actually feeling what our clients will be feeling is humbling. We are just starting fresh social workers, but in reality, we have been doing this type of work for years. We just didn't know what to call it. I grew up with my mother working at a local senior center. She had so much love for her clients and community members, she would go out of her way to feed the elders in her community. Some of the elders had shaped off have some of the elders she helped often lived off the main road by 5 to 10 miles. Some might think that's not far but on the reservation 5 miles seems like 50 miles. We were raised to have compassion and respect for our elders. They were our teachers, and my mother made sure we all addressed them as if they were part of our family. Shema, my mother, Shema Sana, my grandmother, were proud staples of the community. So we as kids had to be extra nice and always be on our best behavior. Being involved in our community, we learn kinship and how important it is to look at things from a different perspectives. I remember when the big winter storms would hit, and her first impulse would be to help her elders that didn't have electricity or running water. Some did not have passable roads, and my father and brothers would trek out on horseback to make sure these peoples were safe. Social work is not a job; it's a part of a community that people would be best that a part of a community that want the best for everyone and being able to share the same goals.
Okay, my takeaway, Sarita's takeaway, understanding the roles of social worker and the community health representative, CHR, involves recognizing how both supportive individuals and community well-being often is complementary ways. Or did I might have messed up on that, sorry. A social worker CHR focuses on helping individuals, families, and groups cope with challenges by their needs within systems like healthcare, education, social services. In contrast, the community health representative typically works at grassroots level, often within specific communities, including tribal or rural areas, to promote health education, prevent disease, and improve access to care by acting as a bridge between community and healthcare providers. Together, they play vital roles in addressing social. How do you say that? Sorry, guys, I'm not good at reading. Determinants of health, reducing disparity, and empowering communities through social education and advocacy.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start our PowerPoint presentation. It's going to be building support with connection, working with an elder and family. It's going to be Sarah, Lorenzo, and Sarita.
Hi, so the article that I chose is Family Caregiving for Older Adults. The question, how does the literature explain the primary problems faced by the clients? The main problems clients face often include a combination of personal, social, and financial struggles. For example, many clients deal with issues like not having enough money for basic needs such as food, housing, or healthcare. Some clients also struggle with mental health problems like anxiety or depression, which can make it harder for them to manage everyday life. Others might have problems with addiction, which affects their relationship and ability to work. Family issues such as domestic violence or conflicts can also create a lot of stress for clients. Social problems like discrimination based on their race or gender can make it harder for clients to access help or feel included in society. These problems usually connect with each other, making the situation even more challenging for the client. The next question, how does the literature inform culturally responsive and generalist social work practice in this case? The literature shows that social workers must be aware of and respect the cultural background of each client. This means understanding the values, beliefs, and traditions that are important to the client and using this knowledge to create better solutions. Social workers are encouraged to stay open-minded and learn directly from clients about their cultural experiences. This is important because different cultural groups may face unique challenges or have different needs. In generalist social work, social workers are trained to help people in many different ways, whether that's by offering individual support, working with families, or even helping larger groups in a community. The goal is to use a variety of tools and methods to solve problems, always keeping the client's needs and perspective at the center. By doing this, social workers can help people more effectively and fairly.
Okay, so the article I picked was Family and Community in Native American Social Work. The first question, how does the literature explain the primary problem faced by the client or clients? Family and community are central to Native American social work practice, emphasizing the interconnected relationships, cultural traditions, and collective well-being, rather than focusing solely on the individual approaches highlight the importance of extended family, elders, and community networks in healing and support. Culturally grounded practices incorporate respect for traditions, spiritually, and shared responsibility. Recognizing the strong community ties promotes, how do you say that? Resilience and positive outcomes for individuals and families. Analyzes draw on theory of historical trauma and family involvement in indigenous social. Throughout the study, indigenous mythology has been a central principle. How does the literature inform cultural, responsive, and generalist social work practice in this case? The literature shows that culturally responsive and generalist social work practice must move beyond individual-focused approaches and instead center family, community, and cultural context. It emphasizes that Native American clients are deeply connected to extended family systems. Sorry, guys, tribal identity, and the community networks, which should be actively included in assessment, decision making, and intervention. The research highlights that historical trauma from colonization continues to affect individuals, families, and communities, requiring social workers to integrate cultural knowledge, trauma-informed care, and the community-based healing practices for general practices. This means working across micro, meso, and macro levels, engaging not only individuals but also families, elders, and tribal systems to restore relationships, strengthen cultural identity, and promote long-term resilience. That's me, right? Sorry, guys. Okay, the next article that I picked was Role of Social Workers in Indigenous Communities, a Power Force for Change. How does the literature explain the primary problems faced by the clients? Clients are deeply rooted in historical and ongoing systematic inequities rather than individual shortcomings. These challenges include integrational trauma from colonization and forced assimilation, persistent poverty, limited access to healthcare and education, housing instability, and the rates of substance use or mental health concerns. The article emphasizes the discrimination, cultural disconnection, and the underfunded services further compound these issues, creating barriers to trust and engage with social systems. Overall, the literature frames these problems as interconnected and structural, highlighting need for culturally responsive, community-centered approaches that empower Indigenous clients while addressing the broader social injustice impacting their lives. How does the literature to inform culturally responsive and generalist social work practice in this case? The literature in the role of social workers, Indigenous communities, a powerful force change highlights the culturally responsive and generalist social work practice must be grounded, respect Indigenous knowledge, values, the community structures. It emphasizes the social workers are most effective when they move beyond standardized approaches and instead collaborate with communities, honoring traditions, kinship systems, and collective decision-making. The article suggests that integrating cultural humility, historical awareness, including the aspects of colonization and systematic oppression, and the community-driven solutions also practitioners to build trust and promote empowerment. In this way, generalist practice is strengthened by adapting intervention to fit cultural context, advocating for social justice and support self-determination, ultimately positioning social workers as partners in sustainable community-led change rather than external authorities.
The article I picked was Alzheimer's disease and its relation and related dementias in the U.S. Native American a major public health concern? How does the literature explain the primary problems faced by the clients? Alzheimer's affects 6.5 million Americans, and at the age of 65 suffer from dementia. Alzheimer's disease is characterized by memory loss and cognitive decline that affects daily lives. Two-thirds of women and one-third of men are at lifetime risk for AD. Genetic mutations cause a small proportion of total AD cases. Some other contributors, such as diabetes, obesity, hypertension, and cancer, has been done in almost all ethnic groups. However, little biomedical research has been done on U.S. Native Americans. Okay, and then and how does the literature to inform culturally responsive and general social worker practice in the case? The methods used by American Indian and Native American people to comprehend and cure AD and Alzheimer's disease-related dementia have historically been influenced by their culture, environment, and worldview. Investigating cultural beliefs on ADRD can help shed light on the connections between chronic stressors, disease prevention and treatment, and the role of substance abuse. Caregivers often find many challenges when taking care of elders with Alzheimer's. Being able to reach out for some help sometimes is harder than actually taking care of the individual. Finding the best resources and being able to access medical care are some of the challenges that Native Americans face. Tell me.